A charter flight carrying more than 300 government-assisted Afghan refugees landed in Winnipeg this morning. It's part of the Canadian government's commitment to resettle 40,000 Afghans in Canada after the Taliban takeover a year ago. The CBC's Karen Pauls was at the airport when the refugees arrived.
It's been a really emotional morning here at the Winnipeg airport. People coming out behind me at international arrivals with all of their earthly belongings on those luggage carts. Big smiles, relief to finally be here. We were told there were 324 people on this flight, 120 of them children. 38 of them young women from a high school in Kabul who knew they would be targeted by the Taliban when they took over because they're part of a progressive school that empowers and educates young women. We spoke to a couple of them. Take a listen to this clip.
I don't know how can I explain it. It's something like now I feel so safe. I'm here and I can go to school, and I think that's
Now 115 of these people will stay in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, and 2 other communities. The rest will be flown out to other cities. So they'll all be here for the night, probably the first night at least, and then flown out on domestic flights to other cities. It's been quite a logistical issue. This flight was supposed to get in July, and it was kept very quiet for security reasons. The logistics have been pretty intense. We've been talking to some of the organizers here. They're just trying to get everybody settled right now and into hotel rooms, into places where they can rest and get some food. All of this, of course, being covered by the federal government because these are government-sponsored refugees, Arthi.
And as you can see, of course, you know well, that was such an overwhelming experience for so many of them. There has been a lot of concern that Canada isn't doing enough to help families of Canadian citizens who assisted the Canadian military forces, people who are now targeted by the Taliban. So what can you tell us about that?
Exactly. There are already some of those interpreters in Canada who've been begging for their families to come. But we also did speak to 2 interpreters who worked for the Canadian military in Kabul. They came here with their families, relieved, happy, excited, but also with a very specific message to the Canadian government. There are many more of them left in Kabul, in Afghanistan, in countries around, and they need rescuing. They need to be picked up as soon as possible. They're begging for the Canadian government to send more charters out. 160 people on this flight are considered protected people, and they say that there are many more who need rescuing. Arthi?
The CBC's Karen Pauls in Winnipeg.